Coming up in this special edition of 12 News, a historic change. For the first time ever, there will soon be more older adults than school-age kids in Minnesota.
We're going to have to figure out how do we change to meet this changing demand.
It's known as a silver tsunami, a huge wave of new senior citizens impacting everything from health care to housing.
There's nothing out there for them for sale.
To jobs and an expected labor shortage.
Businesses are going to have a very hard time finding individuals to fill jobs to allow them to expand.
Silver tsunami, living longer, next on 12 News. Hello everyone and welcome to a 12 News special we call Silver Tsunami Living Longer.
It is a look into the future as an unprecedented number of baby boomers are reaching retirement age. That's an estimated 10,000 a day for the next decade and beyond. And that leads to many questions.
Like, where will all those seniors live? And will this generation be able to retire, or will many people keep working for one reason or another? And if large numbers do retire, will that leave some employers with a labor shortage?
And that's where we begin. It might be hard to imagine a labor shortage after the recession we've just been through, but experts say it's coming. It will affect every industry, from manufacturing and business to education.
What else do you see there?
The workforce characteristics are going to change so dramatically that there will not be any area of the economy that won't be significantly impacted.
Over the next 10 years, nearly 500,000 workers will turn 65 in Minnesota. At the same time, the labor force will grow by just 0.1%.
What we do know for certain is that we're going to have far fewer workers available to us.
State labor analyst Steve Hines says the question becomes who will replace retiring baby boomers.
We don't have that many individuals coming in at the young end of the age distribution to replace all of those individuals that are going to hit that retirement age.
You understand the question? You are interested in the question?
In the Osseo School District, the graying teacher population isn't a surprise to administration.
It's not necessarily a worry. It is a reality that we absolutely have to plan for.
13% of licensed teachers in the Osseo School District are age 58 or older.
Teaching young people is very difficult and delightful.
English teacher Paul Wardell will hit 65 in 2015, but he's not ready to retire.
It's the spirit of the children, the spirit of the teenagers. I don't know if I can get this vitality in my life unless I'm with young people.
We're trying to be very, very purposeful and planful.
Osseo District Human Resources Director Judy McDonald says it's not unusual for teachers to work beyond age 65, but the district is prepared for retirements, even looking to students as a pipeline for future teachers.
We're intentional about ramping that up. We're also intentional about creating rigorous partnerships with colleges and universities so that we can keep that relationship with our students all the way through their career path.
By mid-2015, Minnesota will begin to see the effects of a labor shortage, setting the stage for a new era in the workplace.
We need to take advantage of all of the workforce that we have available to us because we're going to need them.
According to a survey of baby boomers done by the Minnesota Department of Human Services, nearly 1/4 say they have no plans to stop working.
The survey found 56% have already stopped working, but 23% have no plans to do so. And 21% are unsure about when or if they would call it quits. A pastor in Plymouth who turned 65 last year continues to work, saying many are looking at retirement in a new light.
The old idea of retirement being, well, you just quit, or you just, you do nothing, or you decline, is really not consistent with how we see life in retirement, but is rather just another opportunity to do different things, perhaps. Maybe you can't do them as fast or as much. You have to slow down, take more naps, but to be able to, invest your life and your talents as long as you can.
And the reality is, one reason some keep working is money.
That's right. Whether retirement is a distant dream or staring you right in the face, Shannon Slatton tells us saving enough can be difficult and confusing.
You won't find these at Kmart.
Doug Gelhay can create the unknown.
This one is sort of like an alien tiki god.
Out of the unexpected.
There are typewriter parts in here, parts of an old cap gun holster, with dowel eyes.
In the Robbinsdale basement where he tinkers away,
There's all kinds of possibilities I can see when I look in this thing.
Doug has bins and boxes of items just ready to be made into found object art.
And I thought this would make a cool robot.
And Doug now has the time to create.
Always feel better. You know, it's a way to get out of yourself, just any kind of a Zen meditation. This is it for me.
He retired in April at age 64 from a career in customer service.
I like doing customer service on the phone, but now I'd rather do my own customer service.
Doug and his wife had savings, a pension, Social Security, and a mortgage. He knew the time was right.
We have enough. You know, it's not a trip to Vegas every month or anything, but just having enough sometimes is the answer, and be satisfied with that.
But how much is enough for you? Financial advisors say coming up with that number is the key to planning for retirement.
We see a lot of people early into retirement that are doing a lot of the traveling and more active stuff. Later on in retirement, a good day might just be sitting on the couch with your spouse and watching TV.
In your 30s and 40s, start saving and don't stop. If you can, contribute to the 401k plan at your workplace.
When it comes to retirement planning, it's really just, you know, the sooner you get started, the better. And just to stay the course.
Then, in your 50s, evaluate where you are. This is when you start thinking about what you want to do in retirement and how much that's going to cost. Visit a financial advisor to see how you can catch up or protect what you have.
The number has become a big thing. And it's true. You need to kind of know, how much do I really need to live on? Some people need $300,000. Some people need $2 million. It just depends.
Then, in your 60s, it's game time. Like any budget, figure out your expenses so you can plan for your income.
It goes from, for 30, 40 years, just accumulating money, trying to make money, trying to invest and save, to how am I going to spend it and how do I distribute it so that I don't run out of money before I die.
Investment representatives at Topline Federal Credit Union told us no two retirement plans are alike, just like no two retirements are alike.
It just depends upon where you want to be comfortable. And the important thing here is just make the mortgage payments so I got room to play.
In Robbinsdale, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
The wave of retirees is forcing cities to take a closer look at how they connect with that growing part of the population.
As you get older, you tend to have more medical issues. Fire response, police response is going to change over time, and so we're going to be having to look at how we deliver that service, and having that conversation with residents is really key.
So Brooklyn Park is forming a commission on aging to hear from baby boomers about their needs in retirement. For example, they might be more active and not interested in traditional recreational programming.
This is a generation of baby boomers that are really self-sufficient and really smart, and they know what they want, and so if another community offers a service, they're going to go get it. And so it's really about making sure that we're offering the kinds of things that our seniors want and need in this community.
Nearly 1/3 of baby boomers plan to move within the next 10 years.
Many say it's because they want a home all on one level that's easier to navigate. As Sonia Goins reports, it's causing changes in the housing market.
Uh-oh. Got really bad letters.
Wayne Smith and his wife Christina Patyandi are in their late 60s. The Brooklyn Park couple is part of a growing trend.
We'd been in the other house 28 years.
The baby boomers gave up their 4-level home for a 1-level townhome.
We wanted to get away from a 4-level split, which entailed walking up and down stairs all day long.
They even modified their home to make it easier to get around.
Because we're getting older, our friends are getting older, we put in an elevated toilet, which is more comfortable for most people.
But with 1-level living getting harder to find, these two are lucky.
To me, there's just not enough 1-levels being built.
Real estate expert Mitch Sparger says 1-level living space is being snatched up by baby boomers.
So as soon as something pops up, a little cute townhome, a little 1-level, a slab on grade, they're sold.
Look what happened when he tried to find a 1-level home in Maple Grove.
There's actually 122 homes for sale in that area.
When he narrows it down to a home with 1 level, it's slim pickings.
That it took them from 122 down to 9. There's already a couple of them that are already sold contingent.
And there's another challenge for some seniors trying to buy a home.
If you're 70 years old and you want to take out a loan on a home, you're not necessarily going to get one because you don't have an income, you don't have certain things, so you really need to sell your home in order to buy a home.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
There has been a small boom in senior apartment building in Maple Grove and Plymouth. Buildings with about 500 units are under construction. We'll be right back. As baby boomers age, they'll want to do it gracefully.
Exercise and a healthy diet are part of it, but as Delane Cleveland reports, they're not the only things.
I'm going to get the music going, and we'll start moving and have a good time.
Exercise is the foundation
You picked a great day to come.
for which all healthy lives are built.
Stand tall, shine that heart.
Just ask the 50 or so seniors who make their way to Lifetime Fitness in Maple Grove 3 times a week
4,
for a class appropriately titled
heels now.
Foundations.
This is a great way to start because it's not so strenuous. You can make it strenuous, but it hits every part of your body.
One more to the front.
This is a low-intensity class for aging fitness enthusiasts and people trying to get back into a workout routine.
So they're coming in to get cardio, strength, balance, and a community spirit. Move it up.
Fitness instructor Sharon Kaufman leads the way.
To the back.
In close proximity is Donald Gordon.
It is good exercise, and I think I've been going here for about 5 years.
Turn it here.
Not bad for a man who's 90 years young.
Face the front.
His secret, it's not as complicated as you may think.
Eating right, keeping active.
According to doctors at Hennepin County Medical Center,
you're never too old to exercise.
Turn it here.
It's a model that others should follow.
I can't say enough about the importance of exercise, both in short-term, long-term benefit.
Dr. Peter Sandgren says the goal is to get a moderate amount of exercise for about 30 minutes 5 times a week. But he says there are other key components to aging well.
Limiting alcohol into moderation, avoiding tobacco, ensuring that you have good sleep hygiene. What I mean by that is having a good sleep schedule. And social networks really do help patients and individuals.
Get that little stretch going.
Which brings us back to the Foundations class,
Heart rate up.
which combines exercise and social interaction all into one.
We're all in this together. Our goal overall is to be fit, to be independent forever. One more.
That's something to which Donald Gordon can attest.
Just keep active.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I am with Susan Brower, Minnesota's state demographer, who follows all sorts of trends going on in the state, including that of Minnesotans who are reaching the age of 65 and beyond. Welcome, Susan. Appreciate having you here. How much of an increase are we seeing in Minnesotans over the age of 65 right now?
Well, right now there are about 700,000 people who are over the age of 65, and by 2030 we expect that number to reach 1.2 million. So a very big increase in a relatively short period of time.
Have we ever seen anything like this before?
We haven't. Historically, this is brand new to us. We've always had more school-age children than older adults, and that's going to flip. And going forward, we'll have more older adults than school-age children. So it's just a new age structure going forward.
So this is going to impact a lot of what goes on in Minnesota, like housing, for example. What do you see there?
That's right. So if you think about what the needs of older adults are as they age, think about kind of the life course transitions that older adults go through. They may have children living with them right now, older children who would be moving out of the house. So a lot of older adults, baby boomers, when surveyed about what their needs are going to be in the future, say, I'll be looking probably to downsize. I'll be looking at a single level rather than having to go up and down stairs. I'd like to be close to amenities, close to transportation. These are all things that are kind of in the minds of our baby boomers in Minnesota.
Now, as we get older, there's going to be more of us living with disabilities. How are they going to take care of that? I mean, do aging adults have a plan?
There was a survey done in 2010 by the state asking older adults, how are you going to pay for your long-term care that's coming up? And 30% of baby boomers in Minnesota said, I don't know. And about 20% said, I will rely on a government program. So of that huge increase that we were talking about, 50%, roughly 50%, don't have a clear plan for their own long-term care.
But it's not all gloom for aging adults. I mean, we're going to have some fun with these extra years as well, right?
That's right. So right now in Minnesota, if you're 65, on average, you can expect to live about 20 more years. 15 of those are typically disability-free. So that's a lot of people with a lot of time. And this group in particular is very highly skilled, very engaged, high rates of volunteerism. There's all kinds of potential to be tapped in terms of that group as they move into retirement.
All right, Susan, thank you very much. Susan Brower, Minnesota's state demographer.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. We'll be right back.
If there's good health and enough savings, retirement for boomers should be a great thing.
Neil Persley shows how some will spend their well-earned time.
Baby boomers hope retirement means spending time enjoying the life they've worked for.
So these guys are all characters. You know?
Richard Gregg is one of more than 450 active seniors participating in 4 senior leagues at Pheasant Acres Golf Course in Rogers.
You play because of all these guys that are out here. That's why you play.
We're near capacity for our senior league play, but I'd say 75% of our overall play is probably seniors.
And it's not just for the sport.
Mostly for the exercise. It's camaraderie mostly, being with all these jokers.
Others are looking for new ways to enjoy the time they've earned.
It's like playing ping pong and you're standing on the table.
This is pickleball. Its popularity comes from combining exercise with social interaction.
It's a combination of badminton, tennis, ping pong, and racquetball.
In Brooklyn Park, you can play 6 days a week.
In pickleball, we change partners and opponents after every game. So there's a lot of intermingling and intermixing. So it's a very socializing kind of game too.
I love it. I'm addicted to it. I've only been playing a year and a quarter.
For some, retirement is all about new horizons.
They can take 10 or 21 days to really explore an area.
Nora Blum of Travel Leaders in Maple Grove says seniors have the luxury of time to take longer trips.
Another trend is that they like to travel with their whole families. They bring the kids and the grandkids along.
Some baby boomers might find their lives in retirement are busier than when they were working. Neil Persley, 12 News.
And that's our look at the silver tsunami, one of the biggest trends the state is preparing for.
Thanks so much for joining us.